I now recognize the ranking member for 5 minutes for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you again, Mr. Administrator. As I stated earlier, EPA's workforce has so many talented and dedicated public servants that are working hard to fulfill the agency's mission. I appreciate EPA is making a concerted effort to recruit a more diverse and inclusive workforce as it seeks to provide the next generation of environmental experts with career opportunities. From 1992 through 2012, EPA consistently had around 17,000 employees. Since 2013, that number has hovered around 14 to 15,000 when there was this anti-science message coming through the agency of late prior to your administration. We know that some left demoralized and some rushed their retirement plans. We know EPA is being asked to address more numerous and more complex challenges and administer historic levels of funding. For years, we've been asking these employees to do more with less. So, Mr. Administrator, I know the budget request would get EPA back to that 17,000 level. How important is that part of the request? And can you please update us on EPA's efforts to hire qualified people to support implementation of the very important IIJA and IRA policies?
Well, thank you for the question. And it's absolutely important. I think when we look at the decline of our staff, qualified staff, the areas that have been hit the hardest are those areas where we want to give farmers more tools. So when we look at our pesticides and our herbicides and looking at putting new products on the market, we need to get those things through review. When we look at the implementation of TSCA and look at how we evaluate and assess all of these chemical compounds that are very dangerous to our society, we need those staff members. Yes, we receive resources from Bill to address lead in drinking water, but a recent study we did found that 9.2 million people in this country are exposed to lead. We only receive $15 billion. We estimate that there's $43 billion in need. So as we look at hiring our staff, we want to keep pace with all of these environmental challenges. And the last thing I'll say is 85% of this budget we're requesting goes through EPA to our states and our regional partners. So this is building capacity at our state levels so our states have the ability to continue to have autonomy and comply with these federal laws.
I appreciate that. The infrastructure law funding will reduce the risks of lead, PFAS, and other contaminants in Americans' drinking water, but we know funding is only part of the solution. EPA has also been working on standards that will further protect our communities. Mr. Administrator, I know EPA is updating the Trump administration's lead and copper rule revision. I believe this is a critical complementary action to the $15 billion provided by the infrastructure law to replace lead lines. Can you provide an update on the lead and copper rule, and how can this rule enable us to get every lead pipe out of our water systems?
It's a very important piece of the work, and we've been working hard. We anticipate proposing the lead and copper rule in 2023 and finalizing in 2024. It is a priority for the agency, and we want to be able to have this rule that will complement the resources that Congress gave us through the bipartisan infrastructure law.
Thank you. And similarly, EPA is working to address the traditional air and climate pollution, building upon funding and tax incentives included in the Inflation Reduction Act. Mr. Administrator, I know we are expecting a proposed Clean Air Act standard for power plants in the near future. I'm guessing you cannot comment on the specifics of this rule, but can you provide us with the background on the process that has led to its development?
We've been engaged in the power sector for almost 2 years now, grid operators, state agencies as well. We have been also focused on staying well within the confines of the Supreme Court and the decision on West Virginia. And what we're going to do is propose a rule that sets an emission limit but gives the power sector maximum flexibility in terms of their technology choices to reach that, whether it's best management practices, whether it's CCUS, whether it's battery storage or renewables. There's a range of options that the Inflation Reduction Act, along with this rule, gives our power sector for this opportunity.
Thank you. And why is reducing emissions from polluting power plants an important complement to the IRA incentives for clean energy in our comprehensive national climate action plan?
Well, we know that whether it's SOx or NOx or mercury or climate pollutants, they're disproportionately impacting a number of people in this country. And all of our technology standards are just that. They're technology standards, meaning these technologies or these practices exist and can be put in place from a cost-benefit perspective. And so we believe in engaging with the power sector in moving forward, this is a complement to where the market has been going for the past 10 years. I know people continue to reference the West Virginia case. That was a rule proposed 2 administrations ago. That's not the Biden administration's rule. And so as we look at our rule moving forward, ours will be in line with West Virginia, it'll be in line with our statutory authority, and it'll be in line with the conversations we've been having with the power sector for almost 2 years now.
Thank you, Mr. Administrator. I appreciate building up of quality staff and the morale enhancement that is also followed. Thank you. I yield back.